Okay, so what we're going to look at today is coordinate geometry. And coordinate geometry is the part of maths that deals with coordinates. And you may have seen the word coordinates before, and where we've seen this would be in geography or in map reading. And if you look at any map, it will give you coordinates written down the side and written across the bottom, and that will tell you where different things are. But in maths, when we're looking at coordinates, we look at a thing called a plane. And it's not the type of plane that flies in the sky, it's the plane as in the flat surface that we're looking at, okay? And it's also called the Cartesian Plane, and that's after the named after the man that discovered it many years ago. So, as with everything in maths, we have a way that we talk about coordinates, and what we have is a grid system that's made up of two lines that we call our axis. Okay, so we have an axis going across the bottom, and we have an axis going up and down. And what we can do then, we know that the axis on the bottom is our x-axis, and the axis along the side is our y-axis. Now, if you're drawing this like I just did, we have to use a ruler, okay? And why we use a ruler is that we want to have a straight line. Our two lines meet at the point 0, 0, and along our x-axis and along our y-axis we start at 0 and we move up in terms of units of 1 or 2 or 3. But what we have to do is we have to do individual spaces for our different numbers. So what that means is that the gap between 0 and 1 is the same as the gap between 1 and 2, is the same as 2 and 3, all the way up. And we start at 0 and we go positive in this direction. Now, we can do the same for our y-axis. Now we start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I have this point here, how I would label this, or how I would find this point, if I say point A, what we have to do is we read along the bottom and then along the top. So just like the alphabet, X comes before Y. So if I look at point A, that is 1, 2, 3 steps along the x-axis, and it is 4 steps along the y-axis. So we can write this as point A is 3, 4, because our x value is 3 and our y value is 4. Okay? Now, just like in the rest of maths, we don't just deal with positive numbers. we also deal with negative numbers. So I'm just going to draw my grid again. And these arrows mean that the numbers can continue along our axis. Okay, so this is our y-axis and this is our x-axis. Again, our two lines meet at 0, 0, and this point is also called the origin, okay, because it's where both lines start and where they meet. So on our x-axis we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On our y-axis 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, to label the rest of our x-axis, we treat this like a number line. So we have 0, -1, -2, -3, -4. And we continue that the whole way along. And in the same on our y-axis, we have -1, -2, -3, -4. Okay? And you can see, same again, I have even spaces between all of my numbers, and I have each line, I'm using the lines on my copy to mark each space on the grid. So, if we had a point, and we'll say this point here as B, following what we did along here, we look for our x value first. So x is -1, -2, -3. And then y is 1, 2. So for this one, our point B is -3, 2. So from here, we can also label these as quadrants. Okay, so that's a new word. We have quadrants. And what a quadrant is, it means that it's a fraction or a fourth of your plane. Okay, so we have 4 quadrants. We have first, second, third, and fourth. Okay, so our quadrants. Now, in our first quadrant, x and y are positive. In our second quadrant, x is negative, but y is positive. In our third quadrant, both x and y are negative. And in our fourth quadrant, x is positive and y is negative. Okay. So what we're able to do then is plot individual points and tell where they're going to be, in which quadrant they're going to show up. Okay, so if I was asked to plot the point C, and I'm told that C is 4, minus 2. That means that it's 4 on the x-axis and minus 2 on the y-axis. So I go across 4, positive 4 on the x, and down negative 2 on the y. So this here is point C. Okay? Because our x is positive and our y is negative, we automatically know that this is going to be in the fourth quadrant. Now, the other thing that we need to be aware of is that these points from our origin can also be seen as directions. Okay? So I'm just going to draw another small grid, and we'll say just a couple of points in each direction. Our y-axis goes from north to south, and our x-axis goes from east to west. Okay? So if you're told that something moves in a northerly direction, it means that you're looking on your y-axis, and if it's in an easterly direction or a westerly direction, it means we look on the x-axis. Okay, so this is the first step in what we need to know about coordinate geometry.